Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EEGS webinar. I think we will maybe wait 1 or 2 minutes or not, or start straight away with our very interesting topics about the influencer marketing and influencers itself. Welcome, Aleksandra Woroneckaja, and welcome, Jekaterina Dubnicka. Welcome to the audience, to everyone who is joining us. And I'm happy to have these 100,000 people joining us right now in the very small virtual room right now. I see that the number of the participants is rising and rising. Maybe our room will be too small in a few seconds.
Oh my God, we'll find a place for everyone.
Maybe we should rent a bigger one.
Yeah.
The big Sigma Expo.
Yes, exactly. Sigma Expo.
Yeah.
Let's start then, dear ladies. Jekaterina Dubnicka is a head of marketing and communications at Slot Judge. Jekaterina has over 10 years of experience in marketing, communications, and PR, and 5 of these years in iGaming and affiliate program management. Jekaterina specializes in data-driven content, UGC, and user acquisition, and is also passionate about leveraging emerging trends and AI and performance marketing to drive brand visibility, user retention, and conversion growth. Welcome, Jekaterina.
Thank you. I loved how you read everything that was written for me.
It's my pleasure. Aleksandra Woroneckaja is a chief marketing officer at EvenBet Gaming, where Aleksandra leverages her marketing expertise to drive growth and innovation. With over 18 years of experience in marketing and around 12 of them in management, Aleksandra is well recognized as a strategic visionary capable of developing transformative business strategies. Welcome, Aleksandra.
Oh my God, amazing introduction. Thank you so much. Glad to be here today.
My name is Wojciech Trzaskaj. I'm the Chief Communications Officer at SB Software, a trusted provider of a modular and innovative all-in-one iGaming platform, and especially built by enthusiasts. I build up the brand awareness and the company reputation and turn it into the solid business assets. It's a great pleasure to be here and talk about the influencers. Ladies, who is an influencer? According to the definition of it, an influencer is a content creator with a dedicated audience who can shape the opinions, initiate the engagement of the users, of the audience, and drive action through the trust he has. All of it make the influencer, especially nowadays in the world of social media, a powerful ally for brands looking for the connections, for the real connections with their target market or the group. Would you like to add something to this definition from your perspective, from your experience?
I would add that not only with the audience, I would say everyone now is influencers because we have like phone, we have camera, we go out, we see something, we film, we tell our opinion as general person, like not a big influencer, we tell everyone. And thank you for a TikTok, Instagram Reels, everyone can see it. And everyone can agree or disagree with that opinion or take this recommendation and, for example, visit the same exhibition or to play same casino.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to add that actually an influencer in our industry in iGaming is not just somebody with 5K, for example, of followers. It's usually a person who can be a key opinion leader, who can have an impact on the not only his audience, but can create an extra impact when it's needed by another industry representative. And it's also important that this person who is influencer is able to build trust, because without trust, it seems to me that none messages can be delivered, no of them.
So would it mean, ladies, that the trust is the first key point, not the number of followers?
It depends.
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes and no, because right now the trust between influencers from the followers is a bit less because I know what their opinion can be bought. And they're trying to search for a smaller influencers, smaller bloggers, maybe who don't have a big amount of subscribers, to listen what they say, because in their opinion, they're not bought yet.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add that, yeah, trust is very important, as well as the ability of the influencer to build this trust within your audience also, because usually when a company wants to use this mean of communication, influencers, it means that some extra community should be covered by the influence of this influencer. And this is a challenge, actually, because in case you will not take into consideration some local peculiarities of this or that geography, this or that market, the trust will never be built. And that's why it's really important to take into consideration, yeah, maybe the number of followers, but depending on the short-term or long-term perspective, you are hiring this or that influencer, and of course, the market you're working with. Because this is really important to personalize and customize the content by the influencer, because in case it will be not personalized for your audience, you will never gain the effect.
Mm-hmm. So it would be, in the best case scenario, it should be a healthy mixture of the trust, build up trust, and the followers.
Yeah, sure.
The trust is reflected in the number of the followers. So then, very last question to this definition and this point is: would you rather trust an influencer who has more impactful messages with the smaller group, or with a smaller number of followers, or the other way around, the huge amount of followers, but her recommendations are not so impactful?
I would
Or just
That's great question, actually.
yeah.
Because when I find a new influencers that I love, I usually find them they're like quite small, and I realize I'm losing interest in them like when they get 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers, maybe because they change their behavior, they're trying to follow more trends, and there's this something unique note. That's why, because I followed them in the first place, and they become too general for me, and I don't see any value, any point from them. So I prefer smaller influencers because I can chat with them. Let's say not as much as I could, or for example, in the streamers, I can chat with them. They will definitely notice me, and I can express myself more and exchange opinions with them. So I will feel a bit more connected with them, closer to
Fully
earth.
agree with you. Yeah, fully agree
Okay.
with you. And actually, when the influencer is growing and is growing fast, it usually loses its spirit and what makes him really unique. That's why actually now I'm working in B2B marketing, yeah, in iGaming. So influencers are different in this branch, but in my previous experience when we were working with influencers, we also use the strategy when we go with small influencers, but we had a mix, so 5 or 7 or 8 of smaller influencers, and you are much more successful long term. So short term, maybe it's better to use someone with 1 million followers in case you want to get the results right now, right on the spot. But in case you want to build a long-term strategy and work on your brand awareness and increase your brand heritage, of course, you should adapt to what is going on. And small influencers, they are much more flexible. If you have a very strict brand guidelines, if you have exact messages that should be delivered to your target audience, it's better to work with smaller influencers because they will hear what you actually want to do and they will implement it very sophisticated manner in their flow, and it will be actually perceived by their target audience as a user-generated content, and that is very valuable.
That's very true, and it brings me to the another question, to the next question: why the influencer marketing is essential in today's iGaming industry, ladies?
Because in my opinion, it is cheaper, I would say. Cheaper, not from the beginning, not from when you were starting to work with influencers, but in a long term. Because when influencers suggest something, they suggest you work with them multiple times and followers from him getting used to this product. And as we all know, companies starting earning money from the repeated purchases, repeated deposits. In case of iGaming, when person come back, and if this recommendation from a streamer, from a blogger, influencer is valuable and well thought through, it becomes cheaper because you don't need to pay for this exact same player multiple times, I would say. This is firstly, and secondly, because influencers make your brand. So basically, they are mirroring your values, they're mirroring your style. It's not a surprise when, for example, a bright casino chooses bright influencers, not other way around, and more people get know your brand well.
Yes, when we are hearing to the influencers, we feel more or less when we are following them and knowing them pretty well, like it's a recommendation from a friend, from somebody, maybe even from the family.
Sure.
Yes. And the trust, as you, Alexander, already said, the trust is extremely important. The value trust that the influencer has. And of course, Ekaterina, as you said, the brand awareness, the influencer can do pretty fast.
I also wanted to add, if I may,
yes, of course,
one moment. Actually, so influencers basically are divided, very thoroughly maybe into two groups. One part is real influencers or content creators, and the other part is brand ambassadors. And they have a different role, a bit different. So
exactly.
in case we are speaking about acquisition, it's more about influencers. So it's a classic model. But in case we're speaking about some strategic projects, long-term and so on and so forth, and about possibly retention, because it's not so thoroughly studied and maybe not so many examples could be found for the current moment, but still it's about brand ambassadors, because they are actually the part of your team. They understand what is going on. They have better access to the in-house information. And I believe that brand building process is much more successful when you have a brand ambassador on your team. But it depends, of course, on the size of your business, because the small companies, the startup, maybe they cannot afford to hire a brand ambassador. But in case when you are growing fast and you have a separate strategy for creating this trust and growing your audience and work on increasing the lifetime value of your audience, of course, brand ambassadors is a cool tool here. And my opinion here is based on the experience we had when my colleague was in Latin America, and she dived deeper in the topic of influencers. And actually, this is a proven strategy in Latin America. Plenty of companies who are representatives of iGaming, they are having brand ambassadors. And due to the specifics of regulation there, of course, brand ambassadors have plenty of limitations, what they cannot say or what they have to say. And when you are working with the influencer, that is actually what I want to say, that you always should have this code of conduct.
Yes, we will
You
come to it.
create, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we will come to it a little bit later because
But I
of course, this topic is extremely important. That's why I would love to give you more space for that. So the influencers build the interaction, how the influencers can help drive the engagement and the conversions.
As we already spoken about this, they give you a personal recommendation, they personalize maybe their experience.
Sharing, commenting also. I mean, the very simple and the very strict actions that the influencers can take to engage.
I believe that it's about this code of conduct. I'm so sorry, Ekaterina, but at the very beginning, you actually agree with the influencer what they can and cannot do. And you track the success of his mission based on the KPIs you set at the very beginning. Because in case you did not manage to put these limits and tell him what is the form of his communication regarding your product or your services or your platform or whatever. It's
Oh no, I think we lost her.
Yes.
Facts and figures can be a little messy, and that's why what we agreed at the beginning, it should be tracked while the influencer is working. I believe that's it.
I would say education. So basically, before you start working with the streamers, before they or influencer, because before they go live, before they publish your content, you need to educate them.
Actually, Ekaterina, you are answering already my next question. This is
Oh,
very
really?
no, that's absolutely fine because it shows that we flow with the webinar in a very natural way, and I like it. Exactly, choose the right influencer for your brand, and I think exactly the education and
Onboarding.
exactly explaining and letting them in the influencer to feel, to smell, to taste your brand, to try your product, to go into the company, brand messaging, voice, way of communication, wording, learning the product, dive deep, really deep into the product in all the specifics to understand because it supports very well then the creativity of an influencer. Without this, let's call it as a total, the education and the preparation for the mission is essential.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, sure. Fully support.
I would say it's not like 100% important, it's like 1000% important. Because when something influencer tells to the public, they will remember that. And for
Yes.
example, if influencer tells something faulty, something that he doesn't know, and like it came up from him and you didn't check it, you didn't say like, oh, you cannot tell this and that, the player or the customer who comes to you and ask where's the product, where's like this service, because influencer who I trust, who I believe promised me that, and you start to have problems, and from that point you're losing money, you're losing time, and you're losing your reputation because nobody will believe you because
Yeah.
you don't have the service.
Yes.
Everything
Yes.
believe you're a liar because your
Yeah.
representative of your brand or who like promote your brand told them, for example, you have like a no wager on like a welcome bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. Or either way, you have another strategy. Yeah. In case the influencer has promised something to your audience, you have to deliver the promise.
Yes, exactly. And then that's losing money comes in.
Yes,
exactly.
yes. And that's all about efficiency. That's all about managing influencers. That's all about actually setting the rules at the very beginning. Yeah.
Exactly. I can say like influencers like a small children. We need like control every move. Otherwise, they will put two fingers in a socket pocket.
Yeah, and moreover, never actually treat them like small children. Treat
Oh
them
yeah,
like partners,
exactly.
of course, because in case they will see that you are doing this, oh my God, the consequences will be surprisingly unbelievable for all the
Exactly.
sides.
Like
Yeah,
when you're starting working with influencers, you need to keep in mind if you set your relationships from the wrong foot or you say something that they don't like, your reputation will be buried. Buried why?
yeah,
Because then the smaller influencer is, the bigger impact they make. For example,
yeah,
when I'm looking for a macro influencers who like will say like this brand don't fulfill these promises, we are not working with them anymore. Okay, maybe 20% of them will believe them because they know this is maybe a scandalous thing. Maybe they have something that they didn't work out. Not everyone will believe, but when it's micro or medium-sized influencer, everyone believes them. Maybe 1 to 2% won't believe them.
yeah, yeah,
Everyone will start sharing them. And because nowadays sharing became so easy and everyone can become like an influencer, an opinion-driven person, it will be like dying movement to your brand.
yeah, yeah. And this is what is controversial about influencers. From one point of view, you want to start with the smaller ones because they are more trustworthy and it's easier to deliver the values of the brand, of the product, everything. But but if everything goes south, you have to deal with so many consequences, much bigger and much more complicated in comparison when you are working with just like 1 million followers influencer. Yeah.
Yes. I just had another question, diving deeper, a little bit deeper into that. So the preparation is crucial. Should be the influencer then, because you said, Ekaterina, as a small babies, let's say, to be controlled and so on, but should the influencer also be able and be educated, prepared from our side so well that they can answer even a more complicated questions? For example, how deep should they go into the product knowledge, industry knowledge, whatever we need, expect from them?
In my opinion, as a marketing manager, like the ones who are dealing with the branding, I think the influencer should know better brand than me. It's my
Mhm.
opinion. But
I agree.
yeah, but let's remember the thing that it's totally okay to not know something. It's totally okay to forget something because everyone is a person, and I totally understand because sometimes I forget something to do, like put the dishes to the dishwasher, let's say that. What happens if you are, for example, doing your Instagram live or you're posting something and you forgot like in the middle of the night because like you have a deadline? I believe it's okay to say to your for influencers to say, I'm sorry, I'm not sure at this moment, but I will go to the brand because I have a relationship with them, because I'm speaking with them, and I will ask this question. I will try to solve and help you to answer this. And this will be even better than do not answer at all or say like, I don't know. Because when you have a good connections with an influencer and you can help solve a problem that is connected to your brand, or maybe to solve a problem, for example, with a payment or something else or a payout, it's even better and your brand becomes like whoo, skyrocketing, and everyone will believe you more and believe more that streamer or influencer.
Mhm.
So basically it's a win-win situation. So I would say like it's okay to not know everything, but
Mhm.
it's not okay to not to try this answer. So not to find this answer. Do not come from your head this answer. Like go to the brand, ask him. Everyone will help you
Mhm.
because for brand it's also important that information would be placed correctly.
Mhm.
Wants to add here one point actually. When a company decides to work with the influencers, it's a very brave step because you decide that you will become much more open than you were before. And when you start to communicate with the audience using influencers, you should be ready to answer quicker. You should be also more flexible. You should be in touch with your influencer. And as Ekaterina, you said, yeah, it's absolutely normal not to know something, but In case the influencer is getting to the marketing team or to the company with a question, I think you will agree with me that the company will provide the question quicker, answer to the question quicker, actually.
Of course, but like I would say, like, if I would be a subscriber of a streamer XYZ and I have like a problem, to who I will run first? I will run to him because he recommended to me, not like chat support or something else. Who knows how long they will answer to me? Who knows what stress I will receive from the chatting? Maybe I don't want to touch with them. Maybe have an anxiety, but I believe that person already. And as you said earlier a bit, that if you decide to go live and public with the influencers, you need to remember one crucial thing, that no subscriber is interested about your surface. No one goes to social
Sure.
media
Yeah.
right now to see like, oh my God, we have a new bonus. Happy Mother's Day. Everyone goes to see something deeper, that nobody sees something behind the curtains. So be prepared to be naked. I would say that.
Mhm. So to choose the right influencer for the brand, there are a lot of key factors to consider, as we have talked about this, the appearance, the tone of voice, authenticity, of course, and the level of expertise that the influencer should
I would
uh,
say,
has.
I will say something more, one more important thing. Before you start working influencers, it's a work before you're done. And as you said in one conference, I will remember this question from you, like for all the times. You need to decide why.
Yes.
Uh,
Define the
what
why.
for? What for? You need like to
Yes.
find like why. Because if you want to just because everyone else do that, it's like you will fail like straight away. It may only work 1 2 months, and afterwards you will realize that it's not working. And you need to find your branding firstly. For
Yes.
example, if you don't have your tone of voice, if you don't have like you don't know what brand are you a serious brand, are you taking it serious, or are you posting like memes on a TikTok, uh, it will be so hard to choose an influencer for you. You will go to everyone, and everyone will deliver different results, and nobody will remember your brand because there will be nothing rememberable. For example, if you're talking about the most iconic casino brands that we know, they position themselves as funny, as something retro, something beautiful. They choose the same streamers, they choose the same influencer for them, they choose the same ambassadors. So basically, we'll know their brand just from seeing the colors.
Mm-hmm.
But if we'll try to like put a super nice influencer who's like sitting and in a green, like maybe green screen, and talking in a daily life about like frogs, let's say frogs, nobody will understand about what brand he's talking, and nobody will remember that brand.
Yeah, it has to stay always all together and very concise. That's absolutely fine. And I'm very happy that you remember this very very sensitive and extremely important questions. A question about the having why of a company. And I remember when I asked this question, just from the audience of maybe 60, 70 people, just 3 of them rose the hand and said, okay, we have defined the why of our company. And I know it from my
Exactly.
experience how important it is, because it reflects to all of the other actions and the campaigns in the company, and um, to the life and the existence and the development of the company. Uh,
Actually,
so
wanted to add here regarding the question why or what for are we doing it, and that it's these the basics of our marketing strategy, and of I believe that it should be the basics of any marketing strategy, not only about the work of the influencers. In case
Yes.
you do not know the
absolutely
answer
right.
to this question, it's you actually will do nothing special in marketing. That's it.
Mhm.
So many brands that like missing that point. Not only iGaming brands, and I see like ads on like social media, like have you defined why? Like putting an egg in a washing machine, trying to sell a washing machine. Who and why? Who are you trying to sell this washing machine?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes, the definition of why and looking for a why of a company and starting with why is it's a process. I wouldn't say it's a demanding process when I'm doing it with a company. in my professional life, it's not a complicated process, but it's demanding.
Yeah.
It demands time, it demands engagement, it demands creativity, and we should consider it like building the fundament for a house. And it's really the very first layer, the fundament. And how good we do the fundament, that good will be the house itself. And we know that the fundament is crucial, otherwise our house will collapse. And then I'm always explaining to the people that I'm working with in our company at SB Software, I'm saying, hey guys, you have to understand that on the fundament, we can build up either the bungalow made of straw or a tower, let's say the World Trade Center or One World Tower, consisting of 150 levels. So it's on you. How deep would you go with your engagement in the whole process? So that's why from my end, the recommendation is always go as deep as you can. And there is a technology. So we know also that by engaging the influencers, the metrics are essential. And the influencers, they should provide us the metrics like engagement rate, likes, comments, shares, reach, and the audience profile, if they are prepared to answer these questions. And the professional influencers are prepared. Can also tell us, okay, what is the like age, what kind of country the audience is coming from, the interests, and so on and so on. The group of the audience, the whole audience is segmented by the groups, and the better the answer the influencer can give us, the better is the strategy that we can work on together and realize them. Do you have any other matrix that for you personally are important that you are taking into the consideration?
You know, when we were working with streamers, for me, the most important metric was like when they're streaming, they go live, how big percentages audience came through recommendations. So basically, if they're able to get new followers, new viewers, because I am 100% in for prolonged relationships with influencers.
Me
But
too.
it's really important that they're not standing in one place and growing. So basically, the percentage of recommended viewers who came through the recommendation page is very important for me, because that means they're not only producing high quality content, they know how to brand themselves, they know how to market themselves. That means that they're really, really good at what they're doing.
Mhm. Alexandra?
I would like to add maybe the fact that in case you are working on some long-term contract with a brand ambassador or with the influencer, it's not enough to track only the common metrics like engagement rate or reach or impressions. You have to create your own metrics that will help you to understand whether you are fulfilling your KPIs or not. Such as, for example, conversions or registrations or some app downloads, whatever. But it should be your personal metric that will help you to understand that this influencer, this brand ambassador is really working. And I believe that it's crucial to organize such, like retro sessions or maybe some quarterly reviews in case it's a long-term contract, and just to get the feedback if everything is going okay, if he is satisfied what company is providing. Does he has enough information, or maybe the company should provide something more, or maybe he, I don't know, needs more connections with some other people in the company or whatever, or maybe the replies should be faster. And all this together with the feedback will actually help you to build a very good relationship with the influencer and get as much efficiency from him or her, I don't know, as only possible. And the other crucial moment, Sometimes marketing teams start working with the influencer not from the very first day in the contract. They try to launch the collaboration after onboarding, education, and so on and so forth. But my recommendation is to start to use the influencer from the very first day of the contract. And it's not only about educational onboarding. Do everything possible to organize these pre-sessions before you start the contract.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so this is your strategy then. Firstly, prepare and onboard,
yes,
and then run the contract. Because otherwise, I would ask you if you have a different, let's say, buckets of actions. Do you understand what I mean? The contract starts, and then the onboarding and preparation phase has started as well, but you would like to utilize the influencer in this moment. So it means she could do some, let's say, lighter actions already, and then go full speed. Or the other strategy, and this is the one that you are rather following. Firstly, onboarding, preparation, education, and then let the contract run, right?
Yeah, but we should take into consideration that every collaboration with every influencer is different. Yeah,
Yes.
and of course it should be adjusted accordingly. But I believe that every contract can also be adjusted, and in case you have your payment split in some, I don't know, periods, yeah, so it should be taken into consideration in the contract. And what I'm talking about is that do not spend any period in your contract with the influencer in vain.
Mm-hmm.
Make it work from the day one. In case you can, manage the payments and from one period just allocate it to the another period, okay, maybe the work of influencer will be harder or better, or maybe there will be more sessions or whatever in some other periods. And in this case, you can somehow implement onboarding and education on the very first stage, but try to do everything possible to make it out of these limits of the contract. This will actually be much more efficient for the company.
You know, I have not a suggestion, maybe I will not open to everyone like in America, but like affiliate links come so handy when you start working with the streamers, because streamers or influencers, whatever, who promotes your brand, because in that case, you can see how hard they're trying, how good they're working, and data-driven result, what players they're bringing, what subscribers they're giving to you. Is it active subscribers? It's not active subscribers. And you can adjust according to that information, their payouts, their commission, and they will be always motivated, if you're talking about metrics, to grow, to bring you more. And again, you should also mention that in your contract, because if you're not mentioning that in your contract, who knows what the influencer will do? Because we know so many fraud ways how to attract players. We're reading about them every day. Every casino representative reading once a month. This one or that one brought me fraudulent activity. You can write a script, etc. But affiliation links would be amazing as for tracking results and data-driven results.
So we are coming to the next point, since we have two or maybe even three more very important topics that I would like to discuss with you. So the next one is the briefing of the influencer about our company. We talked a little bit about this already, and definitely the briefing has to be very clear from our side. So how our companies, we as the professionals in this area should be prepared to brief the influencers. We definitely have to be very clear. We have to say who we are, what we are doing, what is our product, what is our purpose, what is our why. Definitely we should explain also the tone and voice of the of our brand and our communication since the influencer has to be equal with on the same line with our communication, so that he can feel or can be seen as a part of the team member of the company. So we should definitely also say to the influencers what we are expecting, what are our expectations. Exactly. As you said, Alexandra, do I need more app downloads, registrations, deposits? Definitely, so that the influencer can hardly work on it exactly in this direction, because then our goals are achieved. Everyone is happy. The influencer gets the money, the remuneration for the service, and we get the results. And definitely, we shouldn't overload the influencers with the documents, with like onboarding it of the new very important team member that will be the next James Bond in our company, and he has to know everything about this. So, and then I would like to go further to the wording that the influencer should use to enhance the credibility of the company, of himself. And right now, this is an extremely important part, the legal part, of course. So just stepping back a little bit, do you have special techniques for your preparations from your experience for the preparations of the influencers? And then we move on to the wording in the next step.
You know what I do? Usually when we working with the influencer streamers, when I have a junior coming into marketing department, the first task that I'm giving about education, I'm giving them a licensing guides, what brands can and cannot
So you
do.
are starting with compliance.
Compliance, yes, exactly. I have like a special file I could marketing compliance where I gather the strictest licenses and compliances in the world, like in Germany, like United Kingdom, Maltese license, and like please read it. I highlighted the most common words, like I highlighted the most in red. I highlighted everything that Facebook, Meta, are secretly telling brands, licensed brands, what they can and cannot say, like everything. And I'm
Like
stating,
now, you need this.
yeah, please.
Pay in, deposit right now. You will win. You will win immediately, and so
I
on. And
think it had been left in 2015. Now it's more
not
about
now.
rewards, I would
Exactly.
guess. It's like more about reward. You play, you get a reward,
Mm.
not obligated.
Have fun. This is
Yeah,
all
have
about
fun.
entertainment.
Yeah, but like after they allegedly read it, I giving them like in Google Forms a small test to see if they actually read it or not. Because in that case, I can understand they remember that or not. And of course, when something is happening, for example, live, they're publishing, it's 100% should be reviewed, revised. Example, if you're talking about Instagram, Facebook post, it's easy. They send you before they publish it. You go read it through or go to the legal team review it and say like, oh yeah, you can go, green flag, post it. If you're talking about live streams, somebody from the team should be at least time to time to check in on them, like watch, listen, and understand if they're talking some very expensive stuff, I would say that, from the legal part, or they're like chilling, they know what they're saying, they're so gentle, I would say, demure. I feel myself old right now after these words, to be honest. um, and realize that you can trust them and check them not so regularly, maybe like, for example, if you're talking about stream, like once or twice during the stream.
Alexandra, what kind of wording would you or are you briefing your influencers with that they should avoid?
really stepping, like to my previous experience, we've done almost the same things Ekaterina was talking about. The only point I can add here is that we also checked the year-round commitments of the influencer to understand what is going on his calendar, and it actually helped us to, split the focuses sometimes in our communication, and to manage the waves of interest. So it's also very important, like not only give the task to the influencer, but get the feedback, listen to it, analyze, and be on the same page here. But now, when we are talking about the B2B marketing influencers, so regarding what we do, we also share the marketing strategy. It's essential because you are working here with people who are opinion leaders, and they know about industry. They are absolutely aware of what is going on in the business, and the more information you will give them, I mean, the more not, like overload them with the packs of spreadsheets or whatever. No, the simpler the better. But I mean, the more details, specifics, maybe focuses about what you are going to do during this year and a couple of more years, because in B2B business, it's always about long term. You very, very rarely you have some short-term decisions to make, and especially when you're working with influencers. So it's at first, it's about understanding the strategic goals. Then, of course, it's about understanding the target audience positioning. This is the key, almost on the same level at the strategic goals. And then, of course, you agree on some operational steps. You just check what is going on the regular meetings. We have it on monthly basis, and the team who is directly working with the influencer, they have a weekly basis. But I get updates on the monthly basis, and we correct the strategy if something is going wrong. And more or less, this is enough. But this year, we also decided to have the offline quarterly meetings to, like just beat maybe the KPIs or the focuses in case it is necessary. Because in B2B business, such part as events, for example, is very crucial. And in case you're working with the influencers, and after this or that event, you have the feedback of the audience, the clients, the team. It's necessary to share this feedback in person with your influencers. That's what we do, actually.
Thank you very much. It's extremely important because the influencers into B2B business. I don't want to say it's seldom. It's not, but everyone or most of the people that are hearing the word influencers, the keyword influencers, they are thinking in the first line about the B2C business, but in the B2B, it's also extremely important and crucial. Ekaterina, the user-generated content and streaming, how do you use it and utilize it in your daily business working with the influencers?
I found not so recently, maybe like 4 years ago, let's say that, user-generated content, and I loved it. I love it from the beginning. Loved it because it's such an amazing tool compared to regular influencer collaborations, because you are the king of the content, and the person who recorded, I would say, disgusting thing, it's your slave. But it's much easier to understand in that term, because you're telling them how to film it, how to montage it, and you deciding how you will manage this content. So basically, you have it on your hand. You can put an ad on them. You can put on your social media. You can put everywhere you want. And the person who recorded it will say, will have like little no less saying that. And this is amazing from user-generated content, especially when you're talking from the player's perspective. He come to your social media and have a feeling that here works people like his friends. So basically, they're not popular, maybe that is like the biggest streamers or biggest influencers in a gaming niche like Mouse Troy or something like that. there are regular people maybe who has like a little bit of opinion close to the vibe. They feel more ground touch and they have more trust in your brand from the beginning, and it catches more eyes because we feel closer to them and it feels like, oh, it's my neighbor Max or John, and I believe him because he looks like John.
Mm.
Says that. And if you're talking about going to streamers, I love streamers. I love streamers because they're fun, they're easy, and
They're very creative.
they are creative. And looking at what Twitch, Kick, and YouTube placed as a restrictions, they're very smart. They're
Mhm.
really, really smart because if an influencer, Twitch influencer, Kick influencer, or even YouTube influencer who streams online casinos still streams after a recent YouTube update, they're incredibly smart because it takes so many time to find a small host in these rules to stream and do not be blocked and stream successfully. It's amazing because you have music restrictions like you have restrictions what you can and cannot say because everything now is auto-generated, and like if you say something like you will 100% win your bonus, you will get instantly banned and without even everyone from the Twitch community seeing it because everything you listens, everyone is listening to you, as we will say in old school rumors, and you have a lot of things to do to be like in a referral program of Twitch, exactly the same. And I would say if you want to be more productive with new customers, new players, go to Twitch streamers because it's much more effective.
Mhm. Thank you for that. And right now we are coming to the very last point that is extremely important as well, the regulations, because we talked about how to engage, how to pick the influencers, how to brief them, how to teach them, how to measure them. And the regulations at the end of the day is extremely important because this is the pool we have to swim, all of us, including the influencers. And regulatory considerations, compliance in the different markets. Dear ladies, if I may ask you for just short, most expressive and most visible regulations that has to be that have to be followed by the influencers. How to avoid the costly mistakes.
Oh my God. I would say get rid of the old school thinking about
The
casinos.
time is new.
Yeah, a lot, for example, I see from like my parents who still believes, or like people who are walking around and like chatting in like different gaming chats or casino related Reddits, like people go to casino to earn money, and it's basically older generation who still have this old school thinking that like I will earn money, I will like close my mortgage with that money, and I would say we need to get rid of this. And the biggest challenge right now, like to every influencer to scream about like it's fun, it's only fun. You should be considering the fact that you can be addictive. Here's like a link for Be Gamble Aware or something like that, and follow that. I think the biggest regulatory problem that streamers will face, it's convince people that casino is not about earning money.
That's very true. Yes, we discussed in many conferences. I discussed it already about and in the podcasts as well. Um, the stereotypes that we have to fight with, and exactly one of them, one of the biggest stereotypes is gambling is now not the casino is not about earning money. Alexandra, how do you see it from your perspective?
Pretty much the same. Yeah, it's about entertainment. It's about something that enjoys us, this is enjoyable. And of course, we should remember, like about risk of money loss, because it's the same as buying the subscription to Netflix, for example. You never know whether you will like the content that Netflix will choose for you. You will never know whether you will find the favorite movie, for example, on Netflix. And in case you will not find what's it, it's a disaster. No, it's just one case. So basically, yeah, it's about, I think, creating the culture of understanding that it's about entertainment. It's not about earning money. Yeah. And I believe that we are still, not we, yes, the society is still biased. And we should work on delivering the message that now it's a different society. Now it's a different world. Please adjust. Please be flexible. It's the same like in premium spirits or in spirits industry, about the culture of consumption. Here is the culture of the game, yeah, of iGaming, and we have to create this message and deliver it. And of course, it's like the pyramids of Maslow, everyone knows about it. Yeah. So the foundations is, of course, compliance, regulation, and be in line with all the restrictions, whether we are talking about this or that market. But on the very top of the pyramid, it's about the iGaming industry that brings fun and enjoyment. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Definitely. I totally agree with you, Alexandra, on that. We are not the bad guys. Not we never were, and we are not the bad guys. And especially right now, when the regulations are in place, where we are compliant, when we are sponsoring sports, a lot of sports, and thanks to our engagement and our hard work, many of the football clubs, for example, can exist, and it's known. So why we should be still be seen as the bad guys? So we have another 3 minutes, maybe 4, if we extend the patience of our audience. And I have in the Q&A section a lot of fantastic questions, but I will just pick maybe 2 or 3 of them and ask you, ladies, for a short answer, because the questions are really great. So the one of them is how do you strike the balance between a high-profile influencer and a micro influencer with a better authenticity? Alexandra?
Oh my God. I believe that's when you have the process of education and onboarding, when you start to communicate with the influencer, you understand whether he or she is ready to accept the values and the policy you are talking about from the side of the company. You always feel it, like on the fingertips. You just feel the atmosphere, whether it's right or not. Because the tone of voice of the influencer when he is talking to you as a person, not as a company, yeah, because we are all human beings and it's about human to human conversation. You just feel in case you're on the same page. And after you got this understanding, you start to analyze and to choose what is really better for you right now. As I said before, yeah, when we are talking about acquisition, maybe it's okay to go with a high-profile influencer. But in case we are talking about long-term strategy and a very specific market, for example, you can choose the micro-influencer and grow together with him. Mm-hmm. And this is absolutely normal.
Mm-hmm. Yekaterina, would you like to add something with few sentences, just?
I wouldn't answer it better than Alexandra did, to be honest. I will add a small thing.
Everything was said.
Everything was said. I will add a small thing. When you are chatting with the influencers, you see how excited they are. If they're not excited, maybe it's a red flag that they're excited to tell everything about it, and subscribers will like feel it immediately. This thing I will add, and I have nothing to add to Alexander's word because it was amazing.
And actually, one more, Ekaterina, as you said, working with influencers is about emotions. That's why, in case you feel that you're on the same page, that's a match.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. There is another question that is very interesting. about the B2B influencer marketing, and the question is if it really works. And do you have any success stories about this? Can you share something, Alexandra?
Yeah, I have actually a success story here in e-gaming. And as I said, when you were asking us about adding something to the portrait of influencer or the description of influencer, yeah. So for B2B marketing, it's about key opinion leader. So the first task is to define who are these people, find them, and start collaborate with them. Actually, we are working with the gaming boardroom. The gaming boardroom is it's not an advertising actually. Guys did never ask me to do it. They even do not know that I'm announcing right now who they are. But they have great experience in a-gaming. They were in a-gaming and in gaming on the whole from the very beginning. So their expertise is the deepest maybe we could find. So we got acquainted, and as we described previously, the start of the collaboration. Yeah, so we shared the strategic goals. We listened to them. We understood their values, their priorities, and we understood that that's a perfect match. We can try. And now we actually work as I said. Yeah, so we have this procedure. We check whether we are on the same page. We check the results we get, and really, for our marketing team, the collaboration is very efficient, and we see the results. In case we will not see the results, we of course will get with the feedback to the guys and ask to change the policy. But for the current moment, this is really working. This is the real example.
Okay, thank you so much. It brings me to the very last question. Can the influencer campaigns be optimized in the real time based on the performance data? Do you have this kind of experience?
They should be. When you work with the streamers, when you're working with influencers, they post something. The first post, the ever first post, you go like in 24 hours and check statistics. You check impressions, you check conversions, you check everything, and you see if you see it doesn't work, you're like straight away duty without even a thought. You're like, we need to change strategy, and you can change it like 2, 3 times unless you feel like, yes, this is a result I want to see, because not always results are because of the influencer. The result is because you did the research, you did the marketing strategy, you did a competitive analysis, and this will strike. Not because of the pretty face, it strike because what you write, how you write, and how you target that, what time you target that. You should, like, it's not even a question.
You have to, otherwise there is.
Otherwise, it will be failing, and you say like, "Oh my God, the streamer XYZ is so awful. He didn't brought anything. We like put in him like 20,000 euros. We are not working with the influencers anymore. It's old age." And from this point becomes a rumors that influencer marketing, UGC marketing, Twitch streamers are like waste of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we say always in the marketing and in our industry, there is no huge enough budget that you cannot burn. So I made some notes during our conversation that we could have till midnight, because the topic is so interesting and is so bright. So the influencer is cheaper, or can be cheaper as the other marketing campaigns possibilities. And the brand ambassadors are extremely important also in your strategy and should be included if you can afford it, or if it's already if it fits in your strategy already. So the influencers should be definitely be well educated and prepared and treated as a team members. They making a bigger impact, and then to measure that, create your own matrix. It will help to save the budget and make the cooperation sufficient. Thank you very much, ladies. It was a great time to talk with you about the influencers marketing. And I hope to see you soon on another conferences, webinars. It's always a great pleasure to share time with you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, the audience, for your time.
Thank you, the audience. Yeah. Thank you.